Hello everyone, Adam here from Vector 3D again at TCT Show 2021 or TCT 360. This time we're at the Dyze Design booth with Philippe from Dyze Design, so stay around if you want to find out more. My 2021 coverage of TCT 360 is sponsored by E3D. Their new Rapid Change Revo combines a toolless nozzle swap, all-in-one ceramic heater core and Revo micro cold end to give your printer a lighter, safer, quick change hot end system. Check the link in the description to find out more. Philip, welcome to the UK. Nice to see you again. So I see you've got some new products here at Dyze Design. Before we get stuck into those, can you just introduce yourself and what you do at Dyze Design and also what Dyze Design does in general as a company?
Sure, I'm Phil from Dyze, so I'm the CTO. I manage the whole technology stuff, what we do in R&D, bring new product to life. Dyze Design, we are specialized into extrusion system and accessories for 3D printers, basically.
Okay, sounds very good. So obviously we've got some new accessories to show off today. Let's start with this one on the right, the Orthus. So at the moment from the outside, it just looks like a black box with a filament in and a filament out. So what's that all about?
So the Orthus is the logical, let's say, son of the Filament Sentinel. So the Filament Sentinel, if you remember, it's just sensing the presence of the filament. So the Orthus is going to sense the motion of the filament. So we have 3 different settings for the sensitivity so that you can fine-tune it, which one is the best for your firmware. And it's basically an encoder. So there's a roller following the motion of the filament, and as the faster it goes, the more pulses there are.
So it sounds like with the old system, it's kind of on or off, either filament's there or filament's not. Whereas with this, is not only understands that filament is present, but how fast it's moving. Exactly. So presumably you can do a bit more with that information once you know its speed as well?
Exactly. So we hope that on the short term, the firmware will try to use as much as possible from the data we have from this sensor to kind of do a closed loop with the extrusion system, but also you can detect the jams or when the filament breaks after the sensor, it's going to detect those kinds of problems.
That's really good. There's nothing worse than having a having a filament sensor, but when it jams, it still doesn't help. Yeah. So that's really good to see that coming. What sort of timescale can we expect to see that product appearing?
So we expect them to release before Christmas. We don't have any specific date for now. We want to make them right, so we'll take the time we need to.
Okay, that's very good. So that other one, what's that called? The Horizon. So something bolted to the side of your extrusion system. What's that all about?
So the Horizon is meant to replace all of the accessories you put beside your extruder, like a capacitive or inductive or the BL Touch. It's using the nozzle as a force transducer, so you are touching the bed and sensing when there's a small force. So it mounts between the carriage and the extruder, and you have something to adjust the weight of your extruder. So right now we have the Dyze Extruder Pro mounted on it, but you can also fit most of the common extruder like the Hermera, the Titan and the BMG from Bondtech. We have some kind of plates that goes in which enables you to fit the one you prefer.
So with sensing the bed via the nozzle, presumably that just gives you kind of one less potential error step where you could either configure it wrong or have issues with expansion and that sort of stuff?
Exactly, and for example, if you change your nozzle and it's slightly different, it's not going to matter because when it's going to do the home routine, the nozzle will actually touch. So even though the setting had an offset, it's going to be the right offset for that nozzle too.
So since we've got this adapter plate, it looks like that's just a kind of standard NEMA 17 hole pattern, right?
Exactly, that's right. So a few of the extruder can use a sandwich pattern with that plate to make sure that we can fasten it on the actual horizon.
And so, seeing as this is like a really standard hole pattern, if someone was to make a plate but maybe offset all those holes just maybe a few millimeters so they can fit another type of extruder, is that going to be a problem, or is that fine?
I think it's going to be fine because the amount of force needed to sense the bed is quite low, so it's not going to bend that much, it's not going to affect the homing sequence.
Okay, so there could be some potential twisting if you go a little bit too extreme, but mostly should be okay.
Exactly.
And then speaking about release schedule on that, is that the same as the Orthus?
Exactly. So we want them to release as soon as possible, but we have still some improvement and fixing to do.
Very good. It's nice to make sure we get things right before they go out to market. Some companies still don't do that. So what about pricing on each of these?
So we aim for the consumer market. So definitely we want to have something that is in the same price range of the Sentinel. So it's very simple, yet I think it's around 30 pounds. So we hope these one will be under, for example, 70 pounds to make sure that it's worth the upgrade.
That sounds really good. Thank you very much for taking the time to talk to me about them. And it's really nice to see Dyze Design come back into the consumer space to give us some more of your industrial engineering goodness.
Thanks. Thanks.
Wonderful. Thank you.
Cool.
Good stuff.
Yeah.
They are really nice. Looking forward to it.
Yeah, thanks. We'll send you some.
Wonderful. Thank you very much.